Hey guys, this is Andy McCann with CrossFit Garage out here in Woodstock, Georgia. And the question I have from you today is Gabbi from Ohio asks, how do you handle the increased appetite if you are doing a carnivore or keto diet? So that is a interesting question. Yes, you are going to change your hunger profile. I'm going to give you my personal experience. I have done this. I've been off of grains and sugars for 10 plus years, and I've done this twice. This time has lasted a whole lot longer. And the thing that happens is you do want to eat more, but it's really, there's a satiation point, and it's like I'm not getting that feeling of like doneness from my meal. So if you are the type of person who eats a meal, like let's say you're at dinner and you eat dinner and then you want to eat like that something sweet and that like finishes dinner for you, then you've created a habit that you really need to overcome. So sometimes it's not so much that you have the appetite that increases, but you will. It's that your ritual is not complete, so you have to fight the ritual. So I fought the ritual of sugar, and maybe I'll do a whole other like Q&A. Actually, there has been a question on sugar, so maybe I'll put it in there. But I punch sugar in the face with different flavors, so olives or cinnamon or whatever, just something different. Okay, so now back to the increased appetite. Here's a very weird thing. The math doesn't work out. So when you do a carnivore diet, and let me pull this up here. So carnivore diet is an elimination diet that consists entirely of meat and animal products, excluding all other foods. Okay, that's what the ChatGPT summary says, or the Brave summary says. And then the ketogenic diet is a high-fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate eating pattern that aims to restrict carbohydrate intake so that the body can break down fat for energy. This is actually where I'm at, is kind of in this realm. So I still eat some carbs, but not much. So grains are out, which eliminates like a ton of carbs. But I wanted my body to start burning fat for energy. And I will tell you this, doing CrossFit and having fat as your energy rather than carbs, it feels weird at first. And the fortunate part was I was always logging my times into our system. So we would do workout, Fran, Helen, whatever. And I could see that my times in my lifts were pretty much the same. I just felt different when my body was burning fat versus carbs. I feel okay now. It's years later and everything's fine. Or at least I don't remember what it was like to burn carbs, I guess, as your primary. But I am more hungry. So let's go back to that. Did my appetite increase? Yes and no. Once I got rid of those cravings, then I realized there was some like, hey, I'm just actually hungry. So I eat a lot more. If you go to like one of my favorite places to go, we'll hit the local steakhouse, and the kids all order steak. I order a steak, and I always joke and say, hey, do you have turf and turf? Because I just want 2 steaks. And they're like, well, you can always buy a second steak. I'm like, I know, thank you. But you eat a lot more. If you count, this is a weird part in the math side of it. Not all calories are created equal. You could eat a Snicker bar and see the calorie count, or you could eat 3 steaks. And I know the profile is different, but it just doesn't stick on you the same way. I eat a lot. I eat a lot of fat. I eat a lot of butter on all my stuff. I eat ribeye and I eat the fat of that. I eat lots of sweet potatoes. Yeah, I know I said I didn't eat many grains and carbs, but I do eat a lot of sweet potatoes. And vegetables, which I know has carbs. I'm not against carbs. I just don't do sugar. And in order to get off of sugar, I had to stop eating carbs. Anyway, the appetite goes up. But I think the real question is not so much how do you handle the appetite, because you just eat more and that's okay. Fill yourself up. I think the real question is, hey, I'm eating more. Won't I get fatter because I'm eating more? And that's the weird part. And Jack, you can attest to this in your take on the segment here, but you don't gain weight the same way once you get off of eating all of these carbs. So like I said, I eat a lot of fat, I eat a lot of protein, and I'm what am I, 5? Oh, I'm a little shorter now, so I'm probably just 5'8". You shrink over time, and I'm 162 pounds on average, and I eat a lot. I have some podcasts and some YouTube videos where I actually show my tracking of food for 2 weeks, and you can see how much I eat. So if you go to @AndyMcCann42 on YouTube, you'll see it. Or if you're watching this video now, you'll see it. But if you're listening on podcasts on Jack's show, then go back and look for it, and you can see what I eat. I eat a lot. So If you're asking, what do I do about the appetite? Yeah, just eat more. That's totally fine. If you're asking, will this make me fat? The weird answer is no. Fat does not make you fat. Mixing carbs, sugar, and fat? Yes, that's a recipe for disaster. I mean, we are the richest country in the world, yet we have the most obese problem in the world. This is the only country where poverty still equals you being fat, which is weird. So don't eat the stuff that's out there that says, hey, this is, convenience food. It's fun food, right? That's not really food. Eat real food. And you weirdly track it. So if you're worried about it, I mean, you can go down the rabbit hole of tracking, weighing, and measuring. I would say just pull up an app and start writing it in there and see, and then step on the scale every once in a while. You're going to find over time, it takes some time for your body to regulate, that you're not going to be gaining weight. All right, guys, hopefully that's helpful. I do have other podcasts that are directly on this. You can find me on any of the podcast channels. Just look for CrossFit Garage. That's the unique name for the podcast. And we talk about there, it's building a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finance, which is pretty much everything that Jack talks about here on the Survival Podcast. All right, guys, take care.